to you, you channel mammals. Guess what? Today we're going to do something really fun. We're going to take the little flight feathers off of one wing of each of the hens so that I can take them out to the burned boat to graze, because there's lots of fine little lacy grass growing up between the old timbers of the ship. And so we're going to go out there, and I thought if their feathers, if one wing was trimmed, they wouldn't be able to fly away. They can't really fly very well, but they could fly enough that they could get themselves into trouble. And then, you know what I think we're going to do after that? Is we're going to go to the mansion and trim the wings of the turkeys. Because the turkeys are just in their run, but they'd love to be free in the garden. You know, turkeys out in nature are loving to just be pecking about and hiding under the shrubs and creeping around. And they don't get to do that because they fly so easily that it wouldn't be safe for them to be off flying away. So we can help our neighbors by doing that as well. There's where we're going to go for a little walk. You see, you can maybe see, I'm not sure, yeah, you see the grass growing out there in the timbers of the deck. That's where we're going to take them. Good girl. Yes, that's it. Oh. Beautiful little wings. Too bad we have to trim them off here a little bit. So that she can still do all So even chickens in the city can have a wilderness adventure. It's really exhilarating in its own little way. And the more we look, I find at the beauty around us and the opportunities, it just explodes. I love watching them. They're like little fluffy sisters. They all watch over each other, and they see what each one is doing and discover it together. It's so great. We're on our way to the oyster mansion here, where we actually know the people that live here. I'm going to help them with their turkeys. They have turkeys that need to have their wings clipped so that they don't fly away, but so that they can be free in the garden. And so in order to make that happen, we need to trim one of their wings. And so I've done it before, so I'm going to help them with it. Now he's done. He's ready to go. So he can't really fly. He can hop around still, but he can't really fly.
You only do it on one side?
Yeah, you should never do two sides, because if you do two sides, they learn how to balance themselves and to get up. But if you do one side, they don't really learn. And so they only can hop around.
Next. That's the male.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to speak. It really helps to hold their feet. There we go. Here we go again. He's really slow. Very strong. There we go. Pretty wings you have. Beautiful wings. These are all fun. Some people cut them,
Too short.
well, they cut them more, but it's not that I'm scared to do it. There we go. Okay, he can go slow. Woo! Okay, one more.
It's okay, little baby.
Okay, girls, so they're not really used to being handled yet. I think they've been pretty much unhandled.
Yeah.
This is it. We're done.
Last one. What a pretty ring that is, Victoria.
Oh, thank you. There. I mean, a lot of people go right up
Yeah, I think
to the covert feathers, but there you go. All right. Well, we've done it. Hi. Hey, I was just coming back over to check on the turkeys. I was thinking of something I wanted to just tell you more about. Come a little closer here. You're up in a tree right now. Did you know that? Anyway, I was thinking about domesticated wild animals. And of course, turkeys are wild to America, but they also have been domesticated. And they're still not tame, but they live within many generations of captivity. And I thought about, the clipping of their wings and how it helps them to feel this sense of freedom, and without being in a dangerous situation, which they wouldn't be able to handle. They wouldn't really be able to survive because they've been domestic. This particular strain of turkeys has been domesticated for so long, and they might find themselves out on a road or on a rooftop, or not in a right situation, or they could even be harmed by other animals. So I just wanted to clarify that, because it might seem that by having animals, I've raised livestock, much of my life, and it's a different world, because it's not like a pet cat or a dog that you can cuddle with and train, really, or house train, and but it's not wild. Also, it's not in the wild. It's not grown up in many centuries of living through the snows and the summers and the droughts and the floods. So it's a very different thing. It's dependent on us, but it's living in a thought that's different than we are. So I was thinking also about, I don't know why this idea came to me, but I'm going to tell it to you, because it might have something to do with, I guess, there are people for animal rights and taking the right care of animals, which of course I just think is a wonderful thing to be alert to. But it's also important to understand the different areas and categories of these lovely creatures, and to realize where our responsibility is, how to make life better for them, but also protecting them and others. So I just think the wholeness of that is important. And I thought about children. Somehow that came up to my thought. I was thinking about when Heather, our little girl, was a tiny baby, somebody said, "Oh, now you'll be wanting a playpen for her." And I thought, oh, really? Because at that time, and even though I didn't see myself as a hippie, but it was the time when it was kind of a time like to now, when there are opinions that are very highly justified, and there's a lot of self-righteousness when people glom onto an idea that they think is the right idea, but they may not have the whole of the substance of the picture. They just kind of are attracted to the romantic part that touches at their heartstrings, but maybe isn't fully developed in all the wisest situations and variations. And so when this person said, "You'll want a playpen for your little one," she should spend X amount of time in the morning, and then after lunch and a nap, she should have another time in the playpen. And I really respected this woman, so I thought, oh, I've got to see what this is all about, because anyone of my generation was saying, oh, free love, free, let the children do what's natural, trying to find some kind of an idea that they could hold to that fit with the times. And it was discipline and self-discipline was really not part of the program at that time. And it went on and grew into children's kids lib and women's lib, and as I said, sometimes not really in line with the real true liberation that all of society can embrace together, which actually comes through a kind of self-discipline and self-individuality, not just following a trend or a fashion or what the world is saying is the best thing. perhaps it needs to be studied more deeply within ourselves. So anyway, with Heather, I did that. I got a playpen for her, and I put her in her playpen, and this wise friend of mine said, and don't just put a box of toys in there, because it just feeds into this belief that children have a short attention span. She said, just give her one toy, just one thing, and let her discover it, and let her make it into her instrument, and let her study it, because children, much to our maybe a grown-up illusion, disillusion, or misillusion, not sure what the word is, but anyway, misunderstanding is that they're not playing, they're working. I've noticed that with Heather. She was always working out ideas, learning and teaching herself and taking command of her situation. It was so precious to see. And so there she was in the playpen, and it was great. It was liberating for me because I didn't have to be running after her, dashing, oh, don't touch that, oh, be careful. What about, her safety, the safety of things around her, and not just letting this torrent go crazy where it wasn't really benefiting anyone. And so it was so wonderful to just be still and have my own thoughts and letting her be alone and quiet in her little world there with her thoughts. So it turned out to be amazing because she developed a beautiful attention span. There was no short attention span of needing constant entertainment, needing to be rocked and cuddled, and she had her own little self that she had a sense about. And that all happened, I feel, from what I saw, that she was in a protected environment, free from harm, but also free of being clingy or being clinged onto, and that her thoughts were able to be in space, have space to develop. And I think about that with these domesticated animals, how we need to be responsible for their safety, but we also have to think of ways like clipping one wing that gives them the access to being free without being in a situation that could endanger them because of their natural feathers that could give them flight into a wrong situation. So that's what I was thinking about. And with that, I would like to say I'm glad that we did this as a fun little chore for our neighbors and for our own hens, but also I'm trying to see what is the lesson in it that's beyond just the chore, and what can we learn and take with us and put into our own situations, because most of you don't have turkeys or chickens, and also opportunities for a wilderness experience for them, so you can't really even do that perhaps, but with the clipping of the wings, but it could apply to other things. And so it's just sharing, and I still would love to hear from all of you, and I do hear from some of you. It's amazing. In fact, the fact that I'm talking about this idea and developing it a little is from a letter, a comment from one of you who said, oh, for those who are caught up in the fun of the adventure, perhaps are there thoughts behind it that you would like to share? And I thought, indeed, there are. And so I guess the wind is saying goodbye for me. Goodbye. I can't wait to see you again on another adventure. So long.